Hey, as you can see, I'm on my channel Who is Who in Hoaxology, and I just hit play all, and this series of videos is going to cover my channel called Who is Who in Hoaxology. So all I'm doing is hitting the playlist, and in segments I am uploading them as one unit. And this is the video we will start with. It's a very good video. Born into a world of make-believe. Now the voice you will hear is my voice. All the videos are mine as far as research and composition, but the voice will sound a little different because I have speeded up the rate of film at a higher speed so that I can get more videos and condense them into about 1 hour. So let's start with Born into a World of Make-Believe.
Okay, this is from Disney, and it's about Goofy and how Goofy became a star. Now this video is not about Goofy, it's about truth. So you'll see what I mean.
Constantly on the lookout for that intangible something. A look, a smile, a face, a body, ability. Into this world of make-believe, our hero, Goofy, arrives. All the world is make-believe.
Into this world of make-believe, our hero, Goofy, arrives. Now he goes past a window. So we're going to go backwards, and we're going to see what he sees in that window. So keep watching the window. We're in backwards mode. And I'll put it in forward, slow motion. Okay, now forward and slow motion. Notice that the first thing in the window is an ape. Apes are fake. Chimpanzees are fake. The only animal that's real in that line is a small monkey. And that's it. So that's the first thing. Now the next thing, it says Napoleon suits. I uncovered Sir Robert Peel plays Napoleon in fake history. Sir Robert Peel, or Bobby, is the one who gave us police, city police. You've heard of the English Bobby. It comes from Sir Robert Peel. He played Napoleon. And I have a video on that on my other channel, War Backwards is Raw, where I will show you they're identical. Remember, all the world is a stage, and they're just actors. The third thing is villains. All the villains of history have been fake. Now I know history books will tell you of their terror, and you can feel the personal terror as I would recite a name or a litany of villains, but they've all been fake. So there you have it, 3 things in front of you to establish the world of Goofy, the world of make-believe apes, Napoleon, and villains in general. But I know you'd like to believe that what they tell you is true, but it's not. You have to let go of all media, except for some YouTube people. like myself and a few others, who will tell you the truth. Apes are fake. Napoleon was fake. Most likely, as Napoleon's troops raged across Europe, they were building the future sites for people to visit in the amusement park. One such site would be the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Most likely they were built by the armies of Napoleon, the French, and many other places that we think are great attractions. They're just phony. I have a video where I expose Natural Bridge, Virginia. Not a natural bridge. It's an iron bridge underneath it. Very similar to the very first iron bridge that was ever built in England to help start and begin the Industrial Revolution. They're fake. Apes are fake. Napoleon was fake. And yes, all the villains of history, and the ones right now that are being thrown in your face, are fake. You see, that's you. That's me right there, walking in front of the display window. It's a world of make-believe. The author told you, and I'm telling you, you're just goofy, and I'm goofy. And the whole world's goofy because we believe the plays. We believe the actors. We believe the fear that's created. It's manufactured through the villains. And right now there's a villain in front of us. I don't want to say the name of the villain. It's a different type of villain. It's an invisible villain that everybody believes is lurking around us. But it's just a villain suit. And that's you walking right there. That's me walking. We're goofy. Well, you can stop being goofy. You can go to the one who gives you truth all the time, and that is God. You can turn to His Holy Bible and read it. That's truth. What the media has created in front of your eyes is not truth at all. No truth. Now, there are folks out there that will fight and fight and fight for the mass media because they think that they have to be an extension of the mass media. So I'm doing this video to show you that it's a window in front of you of nonsense, ape suits for all occasions. That's your Darwinianism. Napoleon suits for hire. That's your hoax history. And villain suits, that's your control by fear. A villain can be manufactured through the media. And that's me right there. And that's you walking along, just being goofy. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. End of video.
Ukrainians. Now, of course, right now we know that he had to release it by the end of September. He released those funds by September the 12th. Now, there's going to be a lot of, I call it monkey dust. People throwing dust around, trying to distract from what is the crux of the issue.
There is a lot of monkey dust. And there's Monkey right there. You know who that is? I'll show you. Just hold on. Here's your monkey dust. There you have it. Senator Bill Cassidy is played by Franklin Graham. Take a look at it. Senator Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. But let's do it again. This is another different sets of photos substituted. Senator Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. Let's do another one. Senator Bill Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. So someone asked me about politics, and they said, what evidence do you have that politics is a hoax? Well, this individual here who's on the news talking about politics and things that are occurring in the government, it's just really Franklin Graham.
If we look at the crux and remain focused on that crux, then we'll establish whether or not the president did something illegal or not.
Do you want witnesses, especially there's been a big fuss over...
Look at the smirk.
This confidant of Rudy Giuliani now is sort of spilling the beans on everybody. Wouldn't you want to just question it just to find out, you know, wait a minute, what's going on here? We want to find out exactly where you're getting this, how you're getting this. That it would be in your interest, in the president's interest, to grill him.
Let's step back just a little bit, Neil, and
Step back just a little bit, watcher of my videos, and realize you've been duped. Once again, Senator Cassidy is played by Franklin Graham. So it's all a hoax. All of it. Even the positions of senator, congressman, and even the positions of president and vice president and secretary. They're all just for show. I'd like to thank you for watching this, and I'd always like to invite you to the one who is the way, the truth, and the life, the Lord Jesus Christ. And the one who gives us truth is the Spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit. Thank you for watching. End of video. That's Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks. Don't be fooled. It's only Mel Brooks.
Dr. Fauci.
Oh, I know, there's a little bit of makeup, there's a little bit of prosthetics. We've changed some things around. But essentially, it's Mel Brooks. Bringing to you a Mel Brooks publication, a Mel Brooks production. Mel Brooks.
Dr.
Mel Brooks.
Fauci.
Mel Brooks! End of video. Hello, Mel Brooks. Mel, tell me more about the latest movies that you've been making. I'm very interested in your movies. Well, I know you've always been involved in comedy. And what kind of comedies are you currently working on? Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good production this time around, and that nothing stops you from performing all your comedic acts. Yes, Mel, you are loved.
Dr. Fauci.
So right now, this individual, who is supposedly deceased, is in the news. Ravi Zacharias.
After they leave, you sit down and look at each other, and for about 30 minutes you say absolutely nothing. They're worn out. So I just thought that for things so worn out, and I said to her, you don't need a trip right now. Just get some rest and don't tell anybody you're staying home. Just get so. She apologized, and as I was leaving, I said, you know, it's strange. I told you. You didn't have to go, but you never told me that. I do have to go. She said, you better explain that to Robert Morris, or I'd be in trouble. So here, we're delighted to be with you, and if you'll allow me a couple of questions.
Ravi Zacharias. And we need to go and see someone else.
Those of us who flit about the fickle, flirtatious flame of fame pretend to many motives, but make no mistake. We do enjoy the dance. The trick, of course, is to be warmed by those flames without being consumed by them. In my experience, that objective has been aided by having a wife who is wiser and a son who is smarter. My wonderful adventure in journalism began figuratively, sitting at the feet of an Emporia, Kansas editor I never met, William Allen White of the Emporia Gazette. It was he almost alone who brought...
So guess what? You may have a hard time accepting this, but I'm going to present it anyway. Sorry about that. There we go. I'll get back to that other one in a minute. Now, the last time I got this high percentage on the similarity meter was when I showed the world that Albert Einstein was played by Larry Fine of the Three Stooges. Yes, that is correct. Einstein is fine. And I have that as a video. It's probably on War Backwards is Raw. Fine is Einstein. That's the last time I saw that highest amount of similarity. So I got to thinking that maybe, possibly I'm mistaken. By the way, all my videos, I do have a little disclaimer. Yes, I could be mistaken. I'm only trying to present some research, some thoughts, and it'll be up to you as to whether you agree or disagree or want to buy what I'm saying or not buy it. That's okay with me, because I'm not infallible, and the research methods I use are not perfect. In fact, there's no one on YouTube that has it all together and can categorically give you 100% on anything and everything. So, I got to thinking, maybe this isn't right, because there is, according to their statistics, an age gap that seems to be pretty lengthy. As far as the date of birth of Paul Harvey versus the date of birth of Ravi Zacharias. But I realize that they can lie about birthdays, plus I also believe that because they are the elitists, they have access to medicines and medical care far beyond what we know. It's a lot like technology. The elitists or the controllers have technology at least 25 years above what we have. So that would probably be true in the medical realm as well, which means they could be living much longer than our average age, based on the types of things that are available to them. Now again, that's speculation. So I'm dealing in speculations, I agree, but I want to take you to another way to try to get at the bottom of this, and that is you look at the wives. Ravi Zacharias' wife on the left, and Paul Harvey's wife on the right. Now you notice that Ravi Zacharias, his wife is white, and Ravi is of a different skin tone. Now, that could be very easily done with various types of sprays. And I remember a while back where I was working, there was a secretary that came in and looked like she had gone out to the Caribbean and got a suntan. No, she just bought some bottles of spray, and her body was sprayed with it, and her boyfriend that she was dating at the time, he sprayed himself with it. In other words, don't let the skin color or tone fool you. Now look, there's Ravi Zacharias' wife on the left, and there's Paul Harvey's wife on the right. 66%. Now that's a pretty phenomenal number too. But once again, back to the Ravi Zacharias and Paul Harvey. That number is really, really high. So there you have it. And now I'm going to conclude. And that's the rest of the story. Thank you for watching. End of video.
All right. Well, I had to see it to believe. Explain. You're about to lop off the captain's professional head, and you're sitting here playing chess with a computer. That is true. Mr. Spock, you're the most cold-blooded man I've ever known. Why, thank you, Doctor. I've just won my 4th game. That's impossible. Observe for yourself. Rook to king's pawn 4. Bishop, all right. And this is the computer's move.
By the way, if you're watching this, I'm intervening, and I want to tell you something. That my videos on Leonard Nimoy as Bobby Fischer, chess champion, caused a great deal of disturbance among those who love chess. Over and over again, the comments left were, "You don't know anything about chess." Well, I know a little something, but I know a lot about the world of hoaxing. And this is Hoaxology. You've been hoaxed about world chess champions. You're looking at them. Mr. Spock is Bobby Fischer.
And now mine. Checkmate. Mechanically, the computer is flawless. Therefore, logically, it's reported the captain's guilt is infallible. I could not accept that, however. So you tested the program? Exactly. I programmed it myself for chess some months ago. The best I should have been able to obtain was a draw. Well, why are you just sitting there? Transport room standby will be me down.
Okay, they have to rescue the captain because somehow the computer was tampered with. And Spock, Leonard Nimoy, proved that the computer had been tampered with because he beat the computer. The computer is flawless, but he beat it. So there's a hint, 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 hint. Now let's go to just a little simple picture comparison. Okay, on the left is Bobby Fischer. And on the right is Leonard Nimoy. Now I like these two photos particularly because of the smile. If you zero in on the smile, you'll see that essentially the smile is almost completely identical. Let me see what I can do with that. And that's Bobby Fischer. And now Leonard Nimoy. Now Leonard Nimoy is usually looking a little more like Spock when they show him in public and do things in public because everybody wanted Spock. The world went Spock crazy when Leonard Nimoy premiered on Star Trek as Spock. And that would be about 1966. But Leonard Nimoy will tell you that he was basically acting, I think, around 1948. So he just landed his big role with Star Trek. But he had done numerous television shows, not necessarily as a star on those television shows, but kind of unimportant individuals on different television shows like Rawhide and other shows in the early 60s. So there's Bobby Fischer, okay? Bobby Fischer. And there's Leonard Nimoy. And basically Bobby Fischer is Leonard Nimoy. And they changed the appearance a little bit with prosthetics and different things. But the world has been fooled on everything. There was no big chess tournament in 1972 with Bobby Fischer defeating Boris Spassky. It was nonsense. And the hint is in the Star Trek episodes. Over and over and over again, we find Spock playing chess. So I'll do some more videos to try to bring out to the world, we were hoaxed in 1972. Bobby Fischer was just Leonard Nimoy. End of video. Hey, I already did a video whereby I strongly suggested that Ravi Zacharias is really played by Paul Harvey. So I won't go into that. You can check out the other video. What I want to talk about in this video is how to make discoveries. And I'm going to do several videos on this. Now, believe it or not, this one I just sort of stumbled upon accidentally. Because of the current scandal about Ravi Zacharias, I decided to just watch a video or read about him. When I typed in his name into YouTube, of course he came up. But in the top line of videos next to him was Paul Harvey. Now, I did not type in Paul Harvey at all. At all. And yet, Paul Harvey was in the top line of videos next to Ravi Zacharias. And I saw the picture of Ravi, and I saw the picture of Harvey, and I said, my gosh, I think Paul Harvey's Ravi Zacharias. Well, hence, you can watch the other video. But in order to even go one step further, I thought, well, take a look at the wives. And I was surprised to discover that Ravi's wife is completely skin-colored white. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. And I compared them, and you have a great similarity between the wives. So I'll show you that too while we're at it. Might as well show you. Okay? So Ravi's wife is white, and not a different color of skin. And Paul Harvey's wife comes out a 66% match, which is pretty good on this similarity meter. So, how did I find this out? Well, like I said, just sort of by accident, I found it out. Now, I have learned in the past that when I get a hunch, or when my eyes recognize something, I need to pursue it. I don't know if you've ever encountered the book. It's called Blink, but the thesis of the author is that usually your immediate reaction is pretty accurate and pretty good. However, once you start to mull on it, or chew on it, or meditate on it, you'll dismiss it. So I have learned not to dismiss things when I go, wait a minute, I see a similarity. Wait a minute, that individual looks like. And then I pursue it, and I go, oh my gosh, I uncovered something. For example, the other video I did, and you can look it up, where
was watching about Bobby Fischer, and I noticed when he came into Johnny Carson's show, or whatever show it was, how tall he was, and how cumbersome his legs were. And then I looked at talking about Leonard Nimoy, how tall he was, and I said, let me check the height, and it was six feet, or 6 feet 1, 6 foot, 6 foot 1. And it's like, oh my gosh. Well, then I did my comparison. Sure enough, Bobby Fischer, chess champion, is Leonard Nimoy. So, in essence, when you get a hunch, pursue it. Now, you may not always be right, but you just might uncover something and it might shock you. Such as this one that I just did, where I was shocked when I came up with Ravi Zacharias is Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey is Ravi Zacharias. So now you know, as I said in the other video, the rest of the story. End of video. Happy birthday, dear Mr. Washington, who is King George III. Happy birthday to you. All right, now, the photo you're looking at, or the drawing, or the painting, is just nonsense. There never was an individual in the land we call America by the name of George Washington who was the father of our country. It was image management. It was PR before anybody called it PR. What do you mean? Well, I'm going to show you what I mean. This is a little book that I made up with the so-called presidents. Now take a look. George Washington on the left, the upper left. Take a look. Down in the right, King George. They're identical. Now somebody might want to postulate he had a twin brother. No. Well, if he did, it would have been mentioned somewhere. But no, he's not a twin brother. It's just an image. By witchcraft, they created a character called George Washington. And by witchcraft, they sold the character to the colonists and to every American, and most likely to you, my listener, and to me. We were indoctrinated when we went to school. We were told, the man up there is the father of our country, George Washington. But we were told also that the colonists fought against another George, King George III. I was fortunate to find two photographs, paintings, excuse me, where the portraits, the faces pointed in the same direction. In fact, it is very possible that the artist who conducted or drew these or painted these paintings was the same individual, and they just simply had King George change clothing. Take a look at the hairdos. The hairdos are the same. The nose is the same. The chin is the same. Everything is the same. But yet, because you were taught in school, George Washington is the father of our country. No, he was birthed. B-E-R-T-H-E-D, birthed. He was put in the dock of people's minds. And the birthday that you're celebrating is a B-E-R-T-H, birth, of a vessel that doesn't really exist, but existed in the minds of Americans. And you know what? This is just a little footnote. By about 1800 or so, obviously the American people got very, very suspicious. And they wanted to start seeing documents. Well, the controllers, namely the English, didn't want this because they knew the hoax would be up. And hence there was the War of 1812 and the burning of the White House and so forth. Anyhow, that was just a little added footnote. This is about the birthday, B-E-R-T-H, of Washington, who never existed except in the minds of people and in the propaganda printed in newspapers and in portraits presented. And King George, take a look, my friend. You can see it, can't you? It's so obvious. It is so obvious that I don't need to do anything further than just show you these two paintings. Thank you for watching this video. Oh, and by the way, have a good George Washington birthday. End of video.
Brody is here to talk about Trump's speech. David, Trump didn't roll out a presidential run in 2024, and he's certainly valued as a GOP kingmaker or a...
Hey, I don't know about you, but the one they call Pat Robertson, it looks to me like it's a CGI projection, some type of unreal puppet. He does not even look real, okay? No meat to his body. His voice is so weak. He wants to come across as an aging Christian newscaster, but that would not be correct. Now, even in the believable Hoaxology system, which is Democrat-Republican, you have the what? Look at it, the pentagram with the CPAC, all right? Now, behind this gentleman is the so-called American flag, which is nothing but the 13 original bloodlines, and a bunch of pentagrams. Well, there he is. Take a look at that. Come on. I might be wrong, but I'll tell you what. It doesn't look real, R-E-A-L. It looks R-E-E-L. So what do you think? You think the one who masquerades as Pat Robertson right now is a physical body, soul, and spirit entity, or do you think it's some kind of a CGI projection? Do you think it's some kind of a holograph? Do you think it's a puppet? Well, anyhow, why don't you go ahead and give me your thoughts. Thank you.
Ukrainians. Now, of course, right now we know that he had to release it by the end of September. He released those funds by September the 12th. Now, there's going to be a lot of, I call it monkey dust. People throwing dust around, trying to distract from what is the crux of the issue.
There is a lot of monkey dust. And there's Monkey right there. You know who that is? I'll show you. Just hold on. Here's your monkey dust. There you have it. Senator Bill Cassidy is played by Franklin Graham. Take a look at it. Senator Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. Well, let's do it again. This is another different sets of photos substituted. Senator Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. Let's do another one. Senator Bill Cassidy on the left, Franklin Graham on the right. So someone asked me about politics, and they said, what evidence do you have that politics is a hoax? Well, this individual here who's on the news talking about politics and things that are occurring in the government, this is really Franklin Graham.
If we look at the crux and remain focused on that crux, then we'll establish whether or not the president did something illegal or not.
Do you want witnesses, especially there's been a big fuss over...
Look at the smirk.
This confidant Rudy Giuliani now is sort of spilling the beans on everybody. Wouldn't you want to just question it just to find out, wait a minute, what's going on here? We want to find out exactly where you're getting this, how you're getting this. That it would be in your interest, in the president's interest, to grill him.
Let's step back just a little bit, Neil, and
Step back just a little bit, watcher of my videos, and realize you've been duped. Once again, Senator Cassidy is played by Franklin Graham. So it's all a hoax. All of it. Even the positions of senator, congressman, and even the positions of president and vice president and secretary. They're all just for show. I'd like to thank you for watching this, and I'd always like to invite you to the one who is the way, the truth, and the life, the Lord Jesus Christ. And the one who gives us truth is the Spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit. Thank you for watching. End of video. So you've been told that in 1948, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, Babe Ruth, died of cancer. He only lived to the age of 53. That's hoax history. Babe Ruth did not die in 1948. The Sultan of Swat lived. Now this video is going to show you evidence that Babe Ruth did not die in 1948. In fact, the year that I'm going to focus in on right now would be February the 16th, 1956. There's a show that is very new to the public called The Johnny Carson Show. Only 39 episodes will be recorded. Do not confuse this with The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. This is called The Johnny Carson Show. It will be on in 1955 and a little bit in 1956, and after 39 episodes it will be removed. Now the episode that Babe Ruth appears on is February 16th, 1956. It's the same episode where Dr. Hoffman comes to fame with his usage of the theremin. And I did a video on that. I believe I have it on War Backwards is Raw about the theremin. I focused on Dr. Hoffman in that video and the theremin. But by watching that video, I discovered Babe Ruth. That's right. Now, the evidence I'm going to present is not the best because I cannot pick up the name of the performer. Okay, it's on this particular episode right here. And you can find it in this series called Johnny Carson Show.
Okay, the name of the performer is Jack Prince. Jack Prince. And that's kind of a hint because Babe Ruth is called the King of SWAT. Okay, so he goes from king to a prince. And by the way, furthermore, Jack Prince will make maybe 2 or 3 appearances on the Andy Griffith Show as some kind of a singer. But really, he wasn't a singer. He was Babe Ruth, and they just had someone else do the singing, and they made it look like he's a singer. So back to the original video.
Early episodes. His wife was given these episodes and she put them in a closet somewhere, and then later on she brought them out into the public. So they're kind of a television treasure and interesting to watch, and very interesting as to who you might discover. So because I cannot pick up on the last name of the actor, now Dr. Hoffman is on the right there, and that's the instrument he's playing, the theremin, okay, which gives like spooky, eerie sounds because you don't touch it. That's a whole nother video, and like I say, check that out on my other channel. However, they brought out this actor who really doesn't do much at all for the audience. And I looked at that actor and I said, that's Babe Ruth. And by gollies, I think I'm right. So I have the book right there with the portrait of Babe Ruth. It's a little bit crude, but I believe I'm correct. Now the first name of the actor is Jack. And I can't pick up on his last name, so I can't do a pic-tri-iv like I do with a lot of my other ones. This one I did by eyesight.
Jack Prince.
And you are looking at Babe Ruth, and the year is 1956. Supposedly he died in 1948 of cancer. That was a hoax. Okay, the Sultan of Swat lives. Now I'm going to try to play this a little bit so you can get just a little gist of his so-called acting skills or non-acting skills, however you want to perceive it. Here we go.
What do you play this thing?
Okay, I'm going to go backwards. Now forwards.
Doctor, I wonder how this would work with a vocalist. Jack Prince, would you come in? That's our vocalist, Jack. Shake hands with Dr. Hoffman.
If you can pick up on the last name, please leave it in the comments below.
It sounds like I'm in trouble in a cold shower.
It's Johnny Carson in the center there.
I just said that about Margaret Truman.
Well, I'm in trouble takes cold showers, too.
Margaret, well, it makes no difference. Tell me on the number.
Well, I'm not sure my number's arranged for radar.
Well, try it. What would you like to do,
You know,
Jack?
16 times.
Okay, there he is, Babe Ruth. Take a look at him. He's got the right build, everything.
What, two?
He's right. Good, let's go. You know, 16 times. Play it.
Okay, now you can take a face analysis if you want, just by eyesight. I wish I could do a little better for you on this one, but I can't pick up on the last name. And I've tried and tried to find it. If you can discover it, please leave it in the comments below and I'll follow up on this. But there you have it. That's Babe Ruth trying to be an actor. And you can see he's really a flop. By the way, the show, Johnny Carson show, kind of flopped. It only had 39 episodes. It was on a little bit in 1955 and a little bit in 1956. Okay, that's the king of SWAT. He's trying to become the king of comedy and it just isn't going to work for him. He did much better on the baseball field. Babe Ruth. Very, very slow motion, okay? So you can take a look at the face with the book, the face of the book, the big fella. The king of SWAT. The Babe. He didn't die. At age 53 in 1948, he lived. Well, the public really didn't know this, but now you know it, right? And now you know almost everything around you is a hoax and a lie. Now, why do you think that's true? They tried to put the Babe into show business, mostly because he was a big star, and they just wanted to let him have some type of career and income and so forth the rest of his life. So I don't know exactly what happened to this actor who really does nothing. And if you can pick up on his last name or find it, let me know, and I'll be glad to follow up and do some more. Thank you for watching. End of video. So this is a picture of Babe Ruth taken around 1930. So he's rather young in that picture. And I'm going to show you a clip from the Johnny Carson show that was filmed in 1956, or possibly filmed 1955, but shown on air on February 16th, 1956. So take a good look at the photo and the Babe, the Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT. Now, if you saw my first video, I just basically stated he never died at the age of 53 in 1948. As the press reported, he had cancer and he died. Not true, not true. So once again, this broadcast is the Johnny Carson Show, February 16th, 1956 aired, and the instrument, the musical instrument, is the theremin. And Dr. Hoffman is going to play the theremin. He's on the right. Johnny Carson is in the middle, and the Babe, Babe Ruth, is on the far left. Now, Johnny Carson will introduce him, and his first name, his stage name is Jack something. I don't know his last name, I can't catch it. So I'm just going to show you a clip.
Okay, well, originally when I did these videos, I didn't know the so-called performer's last name, but his new stage name is Prince, Jack Prince. And he will make appearances on the Andy Griffith Show. And he will be some kind of a fabulous singer on the Andy Griffith Show. But he's not a singer, they just lip-synced his mouth with someone else singing. So they didn't know what to do with Babe Ruth. They tried to make him a comedian, they tried to make him a singer, but he went from being the king of SWAT to Jack Prince. He never died, as the papers reported. He just got recycled in the Hoaxology system. Somewhere I have a video. I did show you Jack Prince on the Andy Griffith Show, but I don't know where it is. I have voluntarily removed a few of my channels, mostly because it was just a little too overwhelming for me to host the 9 channels. So I decided to start all over. And I don't really know where it is, on what channel. Over a period of time, I may have produced, it's possible, up to about 3,000 videos. So I don't even know how many I produced. But anyhow, back to Jack Prince on the Johnny Carson Show, who's really Babe Ruth, who never died, as they said he died in the newspapers. The king of SWAT becomes a prince, who can't be a comedian or a singer.
Let you take a look at the two faces.
What would you like to do, Jack? You know 16 times? 14. E flat. Good, let's go. You know 16 times?
Okay, he's singing kind of goofy there. He's not really a hit. So keep in mind that the photo you're looking at was taken in 1930, and the show that was aired was 1956. Supposedly he died in 1948. Now take a look at the body build of this so-called actor, Jack, and I don't know his last name. But look, he's rather short and stubby. And the Bambino, or the Babe as he was known as Bambino, he was kind of short and stubby, somewhat muscular, but the body build fits it to a T. I wish I could do this a little differently, but because I don't know the last name and I can't find it of this so-called performer or actor, this is how I have to do it. So just compare the faces and keep in mind that the photo that you're seeing there supposedly was 1930 and this program is 1956. So you've got about a 26-year gap, but you can see all the features are there, even the hair style and the body build, everything. So Babe Ruth lived on. He didn't die of cancer in 1948. As always, thank you for watching.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name.
No one remembers your name, Jimmy Morrison. Hey, let's jump into the Fox controversy. Here's a favorite.
We're going to take a look at Mr. Limbaugh's reaction to that, as it may be.
They say all politics is local, but it's not always the case. What you do in Missouri matters to millions of Americans. Americans like me.
In this commercial, he is exaggerating the effects of the disease. He is moving all around and shaking, and it's purely an act. This is the only time I have ever seen Michael J. Fox portray any of the symptoms of the disease he had. He can control himself enough to stay in the frame of the picture, and he can control himself enough to keep his eyes right on the lens, the teleprompter. But his head and shoulders are moving all over the place. So this is really shameless, folks. This is really shameless of Michael J. Fox. Either he didn't take his medication or he's acting.
Yeah.
Or he's acting. Ah, looky there. We caught Michael J. Fox with the devil horns on his cheek. Oh, man. I never know what I'm going to come across when I do a video, so I didn't see that in lining this up, but boy, I see it now. Well, guess what? They're both of the devil. That's right, Rush himself and Michael J. Fox. Oh, hey, you know who Rushy is? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rush Limbaugh is, yes, the singer of People Are Strange, and nobody remembers your name. Sorry about that. Made a goof up. Jimmy Morrison on the right and Rush Limbaugh on the left. Jimmy Morrison there on the right and Rush Limbaugh on the left. That's right. Jimmy Morrison never died. His father was Admiral Morrison, who brought us the great Gulf of Tonkin hoax so that the President of the United States could send all kinds of military into Vietnam. Yes, the Gulf of Tonkin hoax led to Gulf of Tonkin resolution. And that was Jimmy Morrison's father. So what do you think about Jimmy Morrison? He just remained a big singer in the Doors? No way. Rush Limbaugh on the left, Jimmy Morrison on the right. So the song that Morrison sang is true.
When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange. when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven.
You know, I thought that was great. I thought he did a really kind of good thing there. Again, I don't want to, I mean, my tendency is to want to make jokes about things, so I have to laugh when he says, remain within the frame of the picture. I mean, when he Rush, it's challenging to remain within the frame of the picture, but, you know, that's...
Portray any of the symptoms of the disease he had. He can control himself enough to stay in the frame of the picture. And he can control himself enough to keep his eyes right on the lens, the teleprompter. But his head and shoulders are moving all over the place. So this is really shameless, folks. This is really shameless of Michael J. Fox. Either he didn't take his medication or he's acting.
Yeah.
People are
When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange.
Faces come out of the rain. Guess whose faces are coming out of the rain? Rush Limbaugh on the left, Jimmy Morrison on the right. A little bit of surgery done there to make Jimmy into Rush, and a little bit of weight gain. That's why the meter isn't coming up too high. But nevertheless, Jimmy the Morrison played Rush Limbaugh, and all this craziness that he spewed out of his mouth was just another attempt to deceive you and me and anyone. So go to the one who never deceives, and that is the one who is the way, the truth, and the life, the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching. Hey, you're joining The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, dated March the 3rd, 1976. Now there you have your 3 code, March, 3rd month, 3rd day, so 33. But anyhow, the individual in front of you with the red dress goes by the name of Susan Clark. Now, in the world of trans investigation, it's easy to see that this is a man playing the role of a woman. Look at the size of the neck, the length of the neck, the larger shoulders, the larger arms, okay? And there's no cleavage here at all. No natural cleavage. So that he's wearing this little pendant here to kind of put your mind and your eyes right here, not down here. And of course, red is the color of drawing your passion, drawing your interest. So when you look at this dude, you kind of get drawn in because of the red color and also the hair. So anyhow, let's listen to what Susan Clark has to say here about an upcoming movie that she's going to star in. Remember, the date is March 3rd, 1976.
And so it was easy when he said, he trained me like it was a dance. That was really, and the ball was something, and it was all rhythm.
Correct.
And it was numbers.
You know, you've got something super fascinating coming up. You're going to play Amelia Earhart.
Yes.
A lot of the young people that I was sitting with Timmy, our son, and he didn't know who Amelia Earhart was. You know, the young kids thought.
She was a great woman.
Aviatrix, I guess, is that the Aviatrix?
Aviatrix? What is it?
Or something, is it Aviatrix or
Aviatrix?
I don't know, you just, I want to know. To me, you look like you should know everything.
I do, but if I told you.
Hey, just a footnote here. Orson Welles plays a role in Hoax history. Orson Welles plays the big general in Hitler's Luftwaffe, Air Force, the German Air Force. He's Göring. Göring. Did you ever wonder why Göring was so huge? How would somebody that was so huge make his way into the military? It's because Orson Welles played him. It was a hoax.
I make the women's lib angry. I know the answer to that. Of course, it's aviatrix, but we're not supposed to distinguish that way anymore, are we? It's airplane person. Airplane person.
I think that's getting a little bit hard disturbing, right?
A pilot test.
No, you're not flying.
No, but I'm taking flying lessons, and it's exciting.
Just to get the...
To get the feeling, because I can't imagine sitting in one seat for 14 hours,
That's right, you can't imagine it because it didn't happen.
That thing, and being totally alone, and that's what she did when she came from Hawaii to Los Angeles and when she crossed the Atlantic. I mean, the concentration and the loneliness, and she never ate, she only drank tomato juice. But one of the great stories, unfortunately, we won't...
It must be some type of a code, tomato juice. Perhaps it has some reference to... Well, we'll go on.
Be able to put it in the show was when she and her husband George Patton were in Washington and Roosevelt was president, and Mrs. Roosevelt was fascinated with the whole idea of flying. And she said, Neely said, well, so we get out of this party, it's kind of a dull party, how'd you like to fly a plane? And Eleanor said, that's terrific. So they got in a car, they drove to the airport, they peeled back their white gloves, and Amelia Earhart took the president's lady up in the air. And she really got out, and she thought that was terrific, and she came back and she asked the president if she could take flying lessons. He said, no way, you're going to stay on the ground.
That's interesting, but why couldn't you show that a little...
I don't know. I think it's too expensive.
Okay, once again, our reporter is going to try to help us analyze these hoaxes and why do they pull them off. Well, she gave a little clue there. It's the tension between the role of a woman and the role of a man in society and blending them. So we'll get to our wonderful reporter here in just a minute. And you know who that is? Well, stay tuned. Don't watch another video. Stay with this video because there's more coming.
Very interesting. So how did you resolve? We have a film on this? I was going to ask how they resolved the story because there was quite a bit of controversy, as you know, about what happened to Amelia Earhart. There were
Controversy generated in the press. Remember, the press can manufacture anything. And by press, I mean media. But at that time, the press would have simply been print and radio.
many stories that she was captured by the Japanese and was alive and lost at sea, never found.
And captured and killed. One story said that she died of dysentery in a Japanese prison.
Right, so nobody really knows.
We take the story up to the way the American public.
Oh yes, someone does know. And our wonderful reporter is coming up, so stay tuned.
Heard it on the air, which was her voice as she did about finger and finger. And the film ends on the United States ship to Ithaca.
Yeah, that's only a fair way to do it. Let them resolve it. Let me do this. We'll be right back after this.
Okay, let's go to our #1 reporter here. And let's hear what Dave J has to say. There's the original title of this video that Dave did. Thank you, Dave. It's resolved.
Outside Trenton State Prison awaits the execution of Bruno Richard Hauptmann. He has been convicted of kidnapping and murdering his son, the firstborn son of Charles Lindbergh. On the night of April 3rd, 1936, Bruno Hauptmann is put to death.
First woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Now she was a superstar, and her every move fascinated her.
Okay, now what do you think is being symbolized there?
What kind of sandwich was it?
Okay, I'll play this next scene with this liar here, Gore Vidal, which I'm also looking at like he looks familiar to me as well. He's got something right in the middle between his eyes that holds his, it pinches his eyes together. I know him from somewhere. Anyways, beside the point. Watching this, watch how they show you two different scenes and just expect you to believe that what he's saying is true. And listen to the words, please.
She was, I must say, it was beyond stardom. It was a strange continuum that she and Lindbergh occupied. They were like gods from outer space. And people would just stand and stare.
Hey dude, down in front. Was a legend. First modern American heroine. Adored because she was daring and successful in a man's world. And because she was magnificently promoted in the press and newsreels at the time.
You'll notice that even in this video, that the promotion of this idea, the promotion of the idea of Earhart is a press idea. It's nothing more than, you know, a Mr. T sighting or something like that. It's all just nonsense. Yet another, that's a dude. All right? You already know that. Here's the proof for that.
She was, I must say, it was beyond stardom. It was a strange continuum that she and Lindbergh occupied. They were like gods from outer space. And people would just stand and stare.
Amelia Earhart was a legend. The first modern American heroine.
Okay, here he is flashing the mystery religion sign of the Trinity, the Three, the Zambal, almost think of the, what became the Knights Templars, that idea. This is the same dude. You can see that. I'm going to go ahead and blend. This will be to show you the height differential between the two characters, and then I'll just go straight into showing you the faces are the same. And then I want to show you the so-called piece of new evidence. And this is what brought my attention to this. I was left to know to take a look into this, and I looked at the original piece of so-called proof. Or at least the one that they have on the desert island right now that they're trying to self-promote the story yet again, give it a little bit more new life, new blood. I'm going to go and zoom in on a very specific point of the picture and you'll see where and why it's a hoax. Okay, just zoom in on the double Zion, the double 7. Right there for all to see. Okay, yes, this is where I went back in my time machine. I slipped that lady a note, and I said, give this to Charlie. The gig's up. Tell him to check YouTube in a few years. 2014, day before Halloween. Because that's the day where you playing Earhart, Amelia Earhart, got busted. Absolutely the same person. That means that the so-called murderer was not executed. That means that the so-called baby was not killed. That means that Lindbergh, the liar, the spirit of St. Louis, the idea of the chain in the ground, the link, to the under, the link to the under, the female-male polarization right in the same person, to show you a male-female, and then to show you that a male is then accomplishing what they're claiming a female is. And you want to know why? You want to know why, right? That is to change the purpose. I just said that. The purpose of man and woman. That's right. To blend the line. And now it's no big deal. Now it's men, they have women running around in camouflage. Whatever. Whatever. But this is the way this is, man. You know? To each their own, but what you think is true matters nothing to what is true. Just remember that. These are the same people. So that means, what did I just say? What does that mean? No Lindbergh baby, no Spirit of St. Louis, no the idea of the Spirit of St. Louis, the idea of the Amelia Earhart crossing. That whole idea. The characters go around, the characters get have little press outings and whatnot. The characters get all that. That's fine and dandy. A little free travel. Big deal. The event, the idea of the person and the accomplishment is what the hoax is. They have movies and TVs and books and everything written about nothing. A movie about Amelia Earhart is a movie about nothing. It's a movie about an idea that's not true. A movie or a book about the Lindbergh baby case is nothing more than a figment of your imagination and that of who wrote it. Because you're both lying to each other. And you're both just as culpable in the end. That's a fact. You can see that's the same person. Alright? And this is going to keep linking. I just need to keep linking that guy I know too, man. Looks like a Roosevelt of some sort. Anyways, now you know, right? So you can stop pretending. You can stop. Don't you dare spread the lie that Amelia Earhart did squat. All right, didn't happen. It's a character. The Lindbergh baby hoax. The Charles Lindbergh hoax liar. All the same person. Whoever you are, you're bound and tied by the power of Jesus Christ. Period. Done.
Thank you, Dave. End of video.
Okay, I'd like to stop right there.
Hey, you're joining.
On that last video, I did borrow from Dave Johnson. And Dave is still doing work. I believe if you want to go to his channel, just type in Dave J, all small case letters, and it should take you to the channel he's hosting here on YouTube. I understand Dave has branched out and gone into other platforms. So you'll have to investigate that. I don't really know exactly all of Dave's work and where it's at. I did do a channel called Dave J Said So. I removed the channel mostly because it was all Dave's work, and I only started the channel to keep his work alive while he was sort of in a quiet mode. So anyhow, this concludes my attempt on this segment to capture my work on who is who in hoaxology. And the date of my filming. May 23rd, 2023. And as always, I'd like to thank you for watching. And what I would ask from you is that you just please leave me a comment. That's basically the only thing I'm asking. Just leave me a comment so I know you're out there. I know you're listening. I know you're watching. That's what keeps me going. When I don't hear from people, it kind of like puts me in a quiet mode. So please leave me a comment, even if it's just a simple 3-word comment. I need to hear from you. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. There's more of this to come. I hope it was a blessing to you. This concludes the segment of Who is Who in Hoaxology. End of video.